What did I just watch? Riders of Justice, directed by Anders Thomas Jensen, tells the story of Markus, a veteran soldier in Afghanistan who returns home to take care of his daughter after a horrible train accident. However, on his return, Markus has an unexpected encounter with a statistical analyst who is convinced that there is more to this tragedy than meets the eye. The movie stars Mads Mikkelsen, Nikolaj Lie Kaas, Andrea Heick Gadeberg, and Lars Brygmann. Anders Thomas Jensen is a Danish filmmaker, and this is the fifth movie in a row that he's made with Mads Mikkelsen and Nikolaj Lie Kaas. So it's actually kind of interesting. It kind of makes me want to go back and watch the other movies that they've made together. Now, I am totally for people not watching reviews for movies they haven't seen, but if I can just tell you something before you leave, please, you should check this movie out. I mean, this movie was different. It's unlike anything I've seen in a very, very long time. So I highly recommend this movie. Now, I watched this movie on Hulu here in the States. I'm not sure what it's available on in other parts of the world, but of course I watched it in the original language, subtitled. I know that that's, for some people, that's something that they're not interested in watching, but I'm telling you, this movie is worth the effort. It's so different. Like I said, it's strange and wonderful and heartwarming and action filled and touching and all of these things together. It's, like I said, it's unlike anything I've seen in a very, very long time. The movie starts out very dramatic and very like, okay, I'm in for a drama here. And then there's this scene that's very comedic, and it almost threw me off. I'm like, wait, is this supposed to be funny? Because I had no idea going into this movie really what it was about other than what I'd seen in the trailer. And to me, it looked like Mads Mikkelsen in like a Taken kind of movie, where he's just this badass that's just going to do all this stuff. I had no idea what I was in for with this movie, and it just continues to surprise every step of the way. And the way that it changes gears, throughout the movie it's just surprising. And that's one of those things that I look for when I'm watching a movie, especially lately when it just seems like everything is just the same. This one was such a breath of fresh air. When the violence happens in this movie, it can be very brutal in a way where it's just like, it's almost a shock, and you're like, whoa, okay, wow, that happened. And then when the comedy happens, it's almost like having ice water poured down your back. You're just like, okay, what? Wow. Okay. And it's what's interesting is that apparently in Denmark there's a difference in opinion of comedy. And there are, let's just say in America over the last however many years, there's been a safety net kind of put in place in the comedy, it just doesn't go too far. This doesn't have any problems going far and stepping over lines and all those kinds of things, which is, like I said, it's kind of refreshing. And I know I sound like a broken record here, but, just when you think the movie is going a certain way and you've got it all figured out, it changes again. And there's some very poignant ideas here, I guess revolving around grief and sorrow and how people move on with their lives after a tragedy. It's, like I said, it's heartwarming in this bizarre way. This movie with this cast of characters, you just don't expect to feel that in this movie, and you do, and that's amazing. And I have to say, Mads Mikkelsen is insanely good in this movie. He's got a lot of range that you just don't always get to see in I guess, of his American movies. Of course, granted, I haven't seen Hannibal. I haven't seen some of the other things that he's been in, but it makes me interested. I mean, this is the whole reason I watched the movie anyways, because I'm like, you know what? I like Mads Mikkelsen. Let's check this out. But the cast across the board, I mean, there's comedic characters, and then there's foils for those comedic characters. They're great. I don't see how anyone can look at this movie and say, yeah, that didn't work for me. So if I had to give this a rating, I think I'm going to give it a 3.25 stars. It's not a movie that I think I can watch over and over, because you do have to seriously pay attention to it and be locked into it because you're reading, I'm not Danish. I don't speak Danish. So of course I'm gonna have to read this stuff, but I think it's absolutely worth your time. Please check it out and let me know what you think about it. So, Riders of Justice. As I said, the biggest surprise in a very long time. I'm curious what everybody else thinks about it. So leave those comments down below and we'll discuss it. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.